This piece was played by Louis Armstrong, one of the world's famous trumpet players. As you can see, trumpet is a unique musical instrument that is widely used in classical music nowadays. Have you ever wondered how musical instruments produce their sound? Different instruments have different methods of producing their sound due to the different material that they use. It gives them the ability to produce their own unique sound. For instance, the guitar uses strings to produce their sound, while the piano has black and white keys to create their smoothing sound. In addition, the trumpet, which is one of the most famous classical instruments, uses tube as the most significant in material. But how big is that tube could possibly be to produce that sound? Although the actual trumpet doesn't look enormous, the tubing inside it is exaggeratedly long when we stretch it out. The actual length of the looping tube inside the trumpet is 6.5 feet long, which is taller than the height of the average human being. Trumpet was first found in 1500 BC. Since then on, it has been through a lot of transformation, such as changes in their appearance and even the sound that they produce. Hence, today in my presentation, I will talk about the transformation of trumpet, and my talk will be separated into 4 parts. Firstly, I will cover some general information of trumpet, following by the differences in its appearance between the trumpet of the old age and today's trumpet. And after that, I will analyze the changes that were made to its appearance. Last but not least, how that changes affect the sound it produces. Now, moving on to the first part of my presentation. According to Encyclopedia, trumpet is known as a brass wind instrument, which made up of cycling three-chord tube. Trumpet was first invented in 14th century and was used mainly for signaling and making announcements. However, it became more variable started from the last half of the 18th century. In fact, the first trumpet factory was founded in Paris by Adolphe Sax in 1842. Australia stated that trumpet was used in many different aspects of art, including the literary and music in the Romantic period. However, it was also used for religious purposes and also for magical purposes, such as guarding people from the evil spirit. While of today, we would usually see trumpet being used in the classic music hall. Inquisitive is a common characteristic of human beings. Hence, with that being said, it is normal for people to be curious about what happened in the past, including the appearance of the trumpet from early years. As we all know, trumpet has gone through a lot of changes. Therefore, it is undoubtable that the appearance of the early trumpet would be different from now. As stated by Encyclopedia, the shape of the first trumpet was said to look like a straight stick that was hollowed by insect. In contrast, today's trumpet isn't a straight stick as it is made up of long tubes looping around inside it. Looking more closely into the time when trumpet was invented, in the early centuries, in Africa and Australia, they developed hollow stick to use as megaphone, while in China, India, and Tibet, they also came up with the idea of developing straight hollow stick into a straight long telescope-like tube, with bells attached onto the ground, which were used in battlefield or ceremonies. Then around 1400 AD, the straight stick was banned, which shortened the height of the trumpet. And since then on, changes were continuously made to its appearance, until it evolved into its current shape. However, what triggered people to make various changes to the appearance of trumpets? Throughout many centuries, we had seen many influential individuals came up with the ideas and had taken part contributed themselves into changing the appearance of the trumpet. According to Estrella, in the 14th and 15th century, the tromba da tirafi, which today is known as the flight trumpet, was first introduced. It was an instrument that fitted with a single flight and could create a chromatic scale. However, to create that chromatic scale, the trumpet changed its shape into a folded light form. Unfortunately, trumpet had only begun to be popular in the 16th century, especially in Germany, when it was used in the military and was also first used in the musical world. Specifically, the low pitch of trumpet was used in the musical piece. However, as time passed by, musicians began to use the higher pitches of the trumpet as well. The trumpet popularity reached its peak in the 17th and 18th century, when famous musicians and composers used it as a main instrument in their music piece. For example, it was used by Leopold, who is Mozart's father, and also by Haydn's brother Michael. As different musicians preferred different notation and pitches, valves were added to the trumpet. However, according to Bender, not much changes were made to the trumpet appearance starting from the 19th century, as jazz was created and they would usually use piano in their band more than trumpet. But the size of trumpet kept on changing continuously as time passed by. As the trumpet's appearance kept on transforming dramatically throughout the music history, it is undoubtable that it would also affect the sound that trumpet produced. As being said, the first invented trumpet was a straight stick which produced buzzing sounds that were used to signal people and make announcements. Hence, as changes were made to its shape, the brass-wind instrument began to produce more musical-like sounds. For instance, in early 18th century, when valves were added to trumpet, the notation, keys, and pitches of trumpet became more diverse. In-depth examination, the valves that were added to the instrument appearance opened ports for more tubing and more air to come through, which made the sound become wafted. Among the three valves, the third valve opened the widest, followed by the fourth valve, while after the second valve is the smallest open valve, which allowed little air to pass through. Moreover, the trumpet back then was mainly used in courtly and military, and with the numerous keys they have, people began to make rules for using the trumpet's key. For instance, they used the key of C and D specifically for courtly purpose, while they used the key E, B, and F for military purpose. While the trumpet undergoes many appearance changes, it is recognizable that this classical instrument had become fully chromatic and had also become the loudest solo instrument. Beyond any doubt, trumpet plays an important role in the music world both back then and currently. To conclude my talk, I would like to look back at all of the main points that I had raised so far concerning the topic of trumpet evolution. So firstly, I had talked briefly about the general information of trumpet, and then I'll make comparison of the old days trumpet appearance to today's trumpet appearance. Following that, I'll discuss about the changes that were made to its appearance, and last but not least, I analyze how the changes affect the ability to produce sound. Furthermore, from my perspective, I believe that musicians in this century should add more trumpet sound into the music to keep it alive. Not just for musicians or artists, but each normal individual should also give more support to classic music and their long history, because all types of music are equally important and should be taken care of in a great deal.
And the trumpets they go, and the trumpets they